Okay, if you've ever stared at a chart during, say, a big earnings announcement or just a really fast-moving market, you know how chaotic it can look.
Absolutely. All those wicks flying around, standard candlesticks blurring together. It's a lot to process visually.
Right. And trying to glance down at a separate volatility indicator like ATR or something, it just feels slow. Like you're adding an extra step when things are moving quickly.
It really does. It introduces lag exactly when you don't need it. And that's why today we're doing a deep dive into what feels like a real shortcut for that exact problem, the Bollinger Bars Indicator.
Created by John Bollinger, the same mind behind Bollinger Bands, interestingly enough.
Correct. And our mission here is to really get under the hood and understand how this tool takes something complex, market volatility, and basically embeds it directly into the price bar itself. No separate panel needed.
So it's not just adding lines on the chart, it actually changes the chart's appearance.
Fundamentally, it swaps out the traditional candlesticks you're used to. Instead, you get these fixed width bars with a really smart color coding system.
And the idea is to force your focus onto what matters most in the moment.
Price direction and, crucially, the magnitude of the trading range. Instantly.
Okay, let's unpack that visual shift then. Because we're so used to candlesticks where, a big body means a strong move between open and close.
Right. The thickness of the body tells a story in traditional charting.
So if the Bollinger Bar has a fixed width, are we losing some of that information, that visual cue about the strength of the close relative to the open?
That's a really common first reaction, and it gets right to the core of the design philosophy here. The fixed width is deliberate.
Okay.
It standardizes the look. So your eye isn't getting distracted by varying body thickness. Instead, you focus purely on the vertical dimension, the price range, and the direction.
Ah, I see. So the width is constant, but the color is still doing the job for direction, presumably.
Exactly. That's the first component, the fixed width body. The color coding is conventional, thankfully. Green means the close was higher than the open bullish. Red means the close was lower bearish.
Simple enough. Standard stuff there.
Gives you that instant directional read. Clean, consistent.
Okay, so what about the range? If the body isn't showing it through thickness, how does that work? This must be where the second component comes in the wide blue volatility blocks.
Precisely. These replace the wicks you see on traditional candlesticks.
Yeah.
And they're designed to be much more prominent.
How so?
Well, they stretch above and below the main body to show the absolute high and the absolute low of that trading period, full range.
Got it.
And crucially, they share that same uniform width as the body. By making these blocks wide and consistent, the indicator makes it almost impossible to miss how big the range was. Doesn't matter if a traditional wick would have looked thin and insignificant.
So you end up with this visual package, a standard width green or red block showing the net move, flanked by these quite obvious blue blocks showing the total distance traveled.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Like the green-red is the result, and the blue is the story of the battle to get there.
And that combination, the third component being the color system itself, gives you sentiment and magnitude side by side.
Instantly. High visibility blue showing the range, clear green or red showing the outcome. It's all baked into one bar.
Okay, now what's really interesting is how this design isn't just aesthetic. It actually functions as a sort of real-time volatility meter.
That's the genius of it. It actively transforms the bar. It's not just about looking different. It fundamentally changes how you prioritize the visual data coming off the chart.
We established the width is fixed. So the key metric for volatility has to be the vertical dimension, the height of those blue blocks.
That's exactly right. The core mechanism is that dynamic height adjustment. The height of the blue blocks grows and shrinks based purely on the total price range traded during that bar's period.
So it's a direct visual representation of the range magnitude.
100%.
Yeah.
Purely visual, purely immediate. No calculation needed on your part.
So let's say a stock is just chopping sideways, consolidating. Maybe it closes slightly green, but the overall movement is tiny.
Then what you'll see is those blue blocks compress right down. They'll shrink significantly.
Signaling low volatility.
Right. Market uncertainty is settling. The range is tight. And because the central body width never changes, this compression is super noticeable.
And the opposite is true for high volatility.
Absolutely. When volatility spikes, maybe during news or a breakout attempt, those blue blocks expand dramatically. They get tall. It's an unmissable visual cue that the trading range just blew out.
That makes a lot of sense. On a traditional chart, you could have a huge range, but if the open and close are very close together, you get a tiny body and maybe long, thin wicks that don't visually scream high volatility.
Exactly. They can be easy to overlook.
Mhm.
Here, because the body width is fixed, any change in the height of the blue blocks, even a subtle one, really draws the eye. It's not diluted by changes in body size.
And that simplicity must make pattern recognition easier, right?
Much easier. These bars are fantastic at highlighting what you might call volatility clusters.
Meaning?
Consecutive periods, bar after bar, where those blue blocks are really tall and prominent. High volatility sticking around.
And where do those tend to show up?
Very often, you'll see these clusters forming near critical support or resistance levels. Or, importantly, just before a significant trend reversal is about to kick in. You can scan a chart and instantly see the zones where the market was fighting the hardest or was most uncertain.
Okay, let's make this concrete. You mentioned earnings season for tech stocks. That's always a volatile time. Let's take Apple, AAPL, as an example.
Perfect example. After earnings, you often get these really sharp, fast moves, maybe a spike up, then a pullback, leaving long wicks on a normal chart.
Right, and sometimes those wicks look thin if the price closes back near where it opened, even if the intraday swing was huge. It can be visually deceptive.
Underestimated, yeah. But with Bollinger Bars, that exact same price action gets, right? Well, it gets the visual weight it deserves.
How would that look specifically?
Okay, let's imagine AAPL has a wild post-earnings session. It trades, say, an $8.25 range. Maybe the low is $177.25. Maybe the low is $177.25, but it ends up closing bullishly at $183.75.
Okay.
On the Bollinger Bar chart, you'd see a green body because it closed higher than it opened. Standard.
But the blue blocks
Would be huge, really tall, visually screaming about that full $8.25 range. The bar tells you, yeah, it finished up, but wow. The fight to get there covered a massive distance.
And that's critical information, isn't it? For risk management, especially.
Absolutely critical. That visual cue instantly flags high volatility. It tells you, hey, if you're thinking of jumping in here, be aware the recent movement range is large. Maybe your stop loss needs to be wider than usual.
It quantifies the risk visually, right on the bar.
Precisely. You don't need to wait for your ATR indicator to update or do mental calculations. The bar is the volatility reading for that period.
And then, in the days after the big announcement, as things settle down,
You'd literally watch those blue blocks shrink day by day. That's volatility decay visualized in real time. Market uncertainty returning to normal.
that instant feedback seems like the key benefit, especially for more active traders. The information's embedded, no extra steps.
That's the core relevance for anyone making quick decisions. It's built for efficiency.
Now, since we're talking about an indicator from John Bollinger, the elephant in the room is Bollinger Bands. Everyone knows those.
Right. A staple on probably millions of charts.
So the natural question is, how are these Bollinger Bars different from Bollinger Bands? Aren't they both about volatility? Is this just a fancier version?
That's a really important distinction to make clear. They both deal with volatility, yes, but they approach it from completely different angles. They're complementary tools, definitely not interchangeable.
Okay, so break down the key differences for us. How do they measure risk differently?
Sure. Let's start with the bars we've been discussing. They show volatility through the height of those blue blocks, right? It's about the immediate price magnitude within that single period, purely visual.
Got it. Height equals range magnitude. What about bands?
Bollinger Bands measure volatility using standard deviation. They calculate how far price is straying, statistically, from a central moving average. So they plot these bands above and below the price.
So bands are statistical boundaries based on recent price action over multiple periods.
Exactly. Bars show how much happened right now. Bands show where price is relative to its recent statistical behavior. Bars need only the current period's high, low, open, close. Bands need a look-back period to calculate the average and the deviation.
And that difference extends to how they appear on the chart, too.
Right. Bars replace the candlesticks entirely. They're the price display. Bands overlay on top of whatever price bars you're using, whether that's candlesticks, HLC bars, or even Bollinger Bars themselves.
So focus is different, too. Bars emphasize immediate magnitude. Bands emphasize statistical position, like overbought or oversold, relative to the average.
You've got it. Bars give you instant, period-by-period volatility feedback. Bands give you context over time based on statistics.
Okay, so they're fundamentally different tools, but you said they're complementary. How would you use them together? What's the synergy?
The synergy is really powerful. Think of it this way. Bands are great for identifying potential setups. The classic example is the Bollinger Band squeeze.
Right, where the bands get really narrow, indicating volatility has dried up and a big move might be coming.
Exactly. The bands signal that energy is building, like a coiled spring. They predict a potential breakout is nearing based on statistical compression.
So the bands set the stage. Where do the bars come in?
The bars provide the real-time confirmation that the breakout is actually happening. When price breaks out of that squeeze, what will you see on the Bollinger Bars?
The blue blocks will suddenly expand dramatically.
Precisely. That immediate visual expansion of the blue blocks confirms the move is underway now. It validates the setup that the bands highlighted, potentially improving your entry time and your confidence.
I remember seeing analyses like this around Tesla, TSLA, during some of its big swings back in 2023.
Oh, Tesla's chart is often a textbook example. You'd see periods where the price was bumping along the lower Bollinger Band, statistically looking oversold. At the same time, the Bollinger Bars during that period might show really compressed short blue blocks. Low realized volatility, despite the statistically oversold condition. That's your coiled spring setup.
And then when the reversal started,
The moment TSLA began to rally, you'd see those blue blocks on the Bollinger Bars just explode upwards in height. That rapid expansion was the visual confirmation. The upward move is happening, the volatility is here, validating the potential bottoming signal from the bands.
that makes sense. Using bands for the setup, bars for the trigger confirmation.
It's a potent combination for timing entries around expected volatility shifts.
Okay, let's shift focus slightly to interpreting the bars on their own. Strategically, how can a trader use just the visual cues from the bars, the contraction and expansion, to get a read on different market phases, like accumulation or distribution?
The visual language is quite intuitive once you get used to it. Let's say price is drifting sideways, not really making progress up or down.
Consolidate.
Right. If during that sideways drift, you see the blue blocks consistently getting narrower and shorter, that's often a sign of accumulation.
Meaning?
It suggests that while price isn't moving much overall, the lack of significant range expansion implies there isn't strong selling pressure coming in. Participants might be quietly building positions without causing big swings. Low magnitude suggests conviction selling is absent.
And the opposite scenario, what signals distribution or the start of a sell-off?
If you see the bars suddenly start to widen, the blue blocks get much taller, even if the net price movement, the green or red body, isn't huge yet, that can be an early warning.
So increased range before a big price drop.
Often, yes. That immediate spike in magnitude, the high range bars appearing, can signal the start of selling pressure or distribution even before price truly breaks down. The volatility picks up first.
So this pattern of contraction followed by expansion seems key for spotting potential trend reversals too.
It's a very common visual sequence. A period of low volatility, marked by shrinking blue blocks, contraction, often precedes a decisive move. Then, the sudden expansion of the blue blocks signals that the new trend, up or down, is likely beginning. Contraction warns you to pay attention. Expansion confirms the move is underway.
All right, this gives us a clear way to interpret the visuals. For a listener who's learning about this now, what are the practical next steps to start integrating this?
Start simple. Don't rip up your existing charts just yet. Add the Bollinger Bars Indicator alongside what you already use.
Okay.
Pick one or two assets you know really well and just observe. Watch how the bars behave during different market conditions, during trends, during consolidation, during news events. Correlate the blue block height with what you know about the volatility.
So observation first, not immediately trading off it.
Exactly. The goal initially is to use the volatility insights from the bars to complement your current strategy. Maybe the bar magnitude helps you fine-tune your entry timing slightly, or perhaps more powerfully, use it to adjust your position size. If the bars are showing a massive blue blocks, high volatility, maybe you take a slightly smaller position size to account for the increased risk or wider stop needed. If the blocks are tiny, low volatility, perhaps you feel comfortable with your standard size. It's about using the visual risk reading.
And presumably, paper trading would be a good way to build confidence, especially testing it during known volatile times like economic data releases.
Absolutely. Practice interpreting those signals in a safe environment. Get comfortable with the visual language of expanding and contracting blue blocks until it becomes second nature.
It really boils down to that core value proposition then. Bollinger Bars take essential volatility data and bake it right into the price bar. instant visual feedback, simplified pattern recognition.
That's the essence of it. It streamlines the process.
So thinking about this focus purely on the visual magnitude of movement rather than the statistical positioning you get from Bollinger Bands, it raises an interesting final thought for you, the listener.
Yeah, it's a shift in perspective.
If you start relying more on this immediate visual scale of volatility, the height of those blue blocks, rather than waiting for statistical calculations or boundaries, how might that immediacy change the way you think about your own risk tolerance?
And specifically, how might it change the way you dynamically adjust your position sizing, going from those quiet low-magnitude accumulation phases to those sudden high-magnitude decisive trend execution phases? Something to consider.